What's up people, and welcome back to Philosophy 101, the series where I put my undergrad and master's degrees to good use to help you guys understand some cool philosophical concepts. I hope you guys appreciated that little degree flex in the intro. Anyway, on today's episode we'll be covering our first fallacy, the ad hominem fallacy. And very quickly, a fallacy is just a failure in reasoning that renders an argument invalid. So go check the logic episode if you don't know what a valid and sound argument is. Now, the ad hominem fallacy is probably the most used in everyday conversation because people often get very defensive in arguments, and this makes your opponent look very silly, biased, and sometimes just flat out wrong. And because of how useful people have made it in everyday conversation, there are often times where people don't even realize that they're being fallacious. Anyway, the ad hominem fallacy is a logical fallacy where someone attacks the character, motive, or other personal trait of the person making the argument rather than addressing the substance or validity of the argument itself. And it often comes in three forms. Those are abusive ad hominem, where you directly attack your opponent's character. So for example, you could say something like, "He's so bad at football. Of course, all of his takes are terrible." Then there's circumstantial ad hominem, where you suggest that your opponent's argument is biased because of their circumstances. For example, you could say something like, "Of course she wants to get rid of tuition fees. She's a student herself." And then there's tu coquet, or you too in English, where you dismiss your opponent's argument because you think they're being hypocritical. For example, you could say something like, "You can't tell me to stop shooting threes, you just shot 15 in the last game." So you can see how this kind of argument can be very effective, but it isn't actually relevant to any of the claims being made. But sometimes attacking someone's character isn't actually an ad hominem fallacy. It's only an ad hominem fallacy if the attack is used to just dismiss the argument without addressing any of its actual merits. But if the person's character is directly relevant to the argument, it isn't necessarily fallacious to just point that out. For example, if a teacher is clearly biased against a student, it isn't an ad hominem fallacy to point that out next time she decides to just send that kid out of class, because that character flaw might be directly influencing that judgment. So yeah, people are often being fallacious when they argue this way, but it's definitely possible that they are just pointing out a key character flaw. The line is very thin, but it's very important to know where that line is so you don't accidentally commit an ad hominem fallacy. Just remember, if the thing that you're bringing up isn't directly relevant to the argument, you're probably being fallacious, so you should probably stop doing that. So now you understand what the ad hominem fallacy is, how it comes about, and how you might accidentally be using it. So hit that follow button to learn about the next cool philosophical concept, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.